A filmmaker vanished deep in a U.S. forest during a documentary shoot. No struggle. No body. Search teams failed, the case went cold, and he was presumed dead. 7 years later, a high-tech camera sensor lit up in the same forest, revealing a man who looked exactly like him, standing beside something that shouldn't exist. Before we begin, take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who loves real-life mysteries, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps keep these stories alive and allows us to continue uncovering cases that refuse to stay buried. Tonight's story is one of the strangest disappearances ever documented in modern American wilderness history. It is a case that sat cold for 7 long years, not because investigators stopped searching, but because the evidence stopped making sense. In 2017, a filmmaker entered a remote forest to shoot a documentary. He went in with a crew. He went in with cameras, GPS trackers, satellite phones, and experience. But one night, while the rest of the crew slept, he chose a different place to rest. By morning, he was gone. No blood. No struggle. No signs of attack. For years, authorities believed nature had claimed him. Until a high-altitude satellite sensor triggered a camera flash deep in restricted forest land, revealing a human figure standing beside something massive, upright, and not entirely human. What investigators found challenged logic, science, and every explanation they had relied on. This is not just a missing person case. This is a story about what happens when the forest answers back. Lucas Hale was 36 years old and at the peak of his career when he vanished. A respected independent filmmaker based in the United States, Lucas was known for immersive nature documentaries. He didn't chase myths or viral headlines. His work focused on ecosystems, human isolation, and how people psychologically respond to wilderness environments. In early 2017, Lucas pitched his most ambitious project yet, a documentary exploring how folklore develops around remote forests. One section of the film would examine reported Bigfoot sightings, not to prove the creature existed, but to understand why generations of locals believed it did. The location chosen was a dense, federally protected forest known for extreme terrain, unpredictable weather, and long-standing legends. Rangers warned the crew that the forest disoriented even experienced hikers. Lucas dismissed none of it, but he feared none of it either. The crew consisted of 6 people: 3 camera operators, 1 sound engineer, a local guide, and Lucas himself. They planned a 3-week shoot. Lucas never made it to week 2. From the first day, the forest felt different. Crew members later told investigators that sound behaved strangely. Voices echoed too long. Footsteps sometimes seemed to follow them, even when no one was behind. Animals were scarce. No birds at dawn. No insects at night. The local guide, a man who had spent decades in the area, reportedly asked Lucas if they could shorten the shoot. He claimed the forest was unsettled. Lucas documented everything. Every night, he recorded personal video logs, talking about the environment, the psychology of isolation, and the creeping feeling of being watched. These logs would later become the most unsettling evidence in the case. On the 6th night, something changed. After finishing a full day of shooting, the crew returned to camp. Tents were set up in a clearing, but Lucas chose to sleep farther away, closer to the treeline. He told the crew he wanted to capture natural forest audio overnight. That was the last confirmed conversation anyone had with him. Sometime after midnight, the sound engineer woke up. He later said he heard heavy footsteps, slow, deliberate, circling the camp. At first, he assumed it was an animal. Then he realized the steps were upright. He froze. No one left their tents. By morning, Lucas's tent was empty. His boots were gone. His camera was gone. His GPS tracker was inactive. There were no drag marks. No blood. No signs of struggle. Just footprints. Large, deep footprints that stopped abruptly at the edge of a rocky slope, as if whoever made them had simply stepped out of reality. Search and rescue teams were deployed within hours. They found nothing. The search lasted months. Drones scanned from above. Dogs tracked scents that vanished suddenly. Helicopters flew grid patterns over miles of forest. Nothing. Lucas Hale was declared missing, presumed dead. The case went cold, but the forest did not forget. Over the next 7 years, rangers reported strange activity. Trees bent unnaturally high above ground. Motion sensors triggered with no visible animal. And thermal readings showing massive heat signatures that vanished before visual confirmation. None of it was officially linked to Lucas. Until 2024. In late 2024, a joint research operation installed high-altitude satellite-linked camera sensors in restricted forest zones. The goal was to monitor illegal logging and wildlife movement. At 2:17 a.m., one sensor activated. The image captured was grainy, but unmistakable. A human figure stood in a clearing, thin, bearded, and barefoot. Standing beside him was something else. Over 7 feet tall. Broad shoulders. Long arms. Covered in dark hair. The two figures were not hostile. They were standing together. The timestamp placed the image less than 15 miles from Lucas Hale's disappearance site. Facial recognition software was applied. The human figure matched Lucas Hale with a 92% probability. 7 years after vanishing, he was alive. Investigators and elite trackers were sent in immediately. Using satellite triangulation, thermal drones, and motion prediction software, teams began tracking the pair's movement patterns. What they noticed shocked even seasoned professionals. Lucas and the creature, believed to be Bigfoot, moved strategically. They avoided open areas. They traveled at night. They circled back to confuse tracking paths. This was not random movement. It was learned behavior. And Lucas appeared to be learning from it. Recovered footage from old camera memory cards, later found buried in a hollow tree, revealed pieces of Lucas's lost years. He had not been taken violently. He had been adopted. Lucas's footage was fragmented but clear enough to piece together a story. The Bigfoot, or whatever the creature truly was, did not harm him. It observed him, fed him, protected him from predators. Lucas documented how the creature communicated through gestures, sounds, and shared routines. He learned which plants were safe to eat, where to find water, and how to move silently. But there was a cost. Lucas admitted on camera that after months, he could no longer tell direction. The forest no longer followed rules. Paths changed. Landmarks disappeared. The Bigfoot did not leave the forest. And Lucas could not leave without it. When trackers finally closed in, they attempted a controlled extraction. They called Lucas's name through speakers. He appeared, slowly, from between the trees. But he was not alone. The creature stood behind him. Lucas raised his hands, not in fear, but in warning. He spoke calmly. "You can't chase it," he said. "This forest isn't empty. It never was." The Bigfoot retreated. Lucas collapsed. He was airlifted out within hours. The creature was never seen again. Lucas survived, but he was never the same. He refused interviews, declined medical explanations, turned over his footage to federal authorities. Most of it remains classified. His documentary was never released. When asked why, Lucas answered only once. "Some truths don't belong on screen." If you've made it this far, you already know, this was never just a missing person case. It was a reminder that there are still places on Earth that do not belong to us. Places where rules change. Where something watches from the dark and chooses whether to be seen. If you believe Lucas was rescued, comment, "Found." If you believe part of him never came back, comment, "Left behind." And don't forget to like this video, share it with a friend who loves unexplained mysteries, and subscribe to the channel for more true crime stories that challenge what we think we know about the world. Because sometimes, the forest doesn't take you. Sometimes, it keeps you.